There are two types of jobs on the AS400: interactive jobs and batch jobs. An interactive job starts when you sign on to the AS400 and includes all the activities that take place until you sign off. A batch job is one that requires little or no interaction with a signed-on workstation user. It runs in the background and can be activated using the Submit Job command. It can also be activated from a job schedule object or as a subsystem auto start job. An interactive application might also be performing work that is batch in nature. A typical example is an order entry application where an operator enters orders and each order is printed after it is entered. The printing part of the application is batch in nature, and hence it can be separated out from the interactive job and run asynchronously. This will also result in the interactive job running much faster than before. Each time an order is completed, the interactive job will inform the batch job that it has completed an order so that the batch job can print the order. There are various methods through which the interactive job can communicate with the batch job: by using fields, through the local data area, through data queues, or by using database files. We will see each of these methods in the coming sections. But before that, let us look at the Submit Job command. On the command parameter, we identify the CL command to be executed. Sometimes, when we submit a job, we might want to run a program rather than execute a CL command. In this case, on the command parameter of the Submit Job command, we will specify the call command. On the job parameter, we specify a name for the batch job that can be used to keep track of the job easily. On the job description parameter, we specify the job description that is to be used for the batch job. The default value is *user profile, which implies that the job description specified in the user profile is to be used. On the job queue parameter, we specify the name of the job queue to which the batch job is to be submitted. A default value of *job description specifies that the job queue associated with the job description specified on the job description parameter is to be used. The system library list parameter identifies the libraries that will appear in the system portion of the submitted jobs library list. The current library and initial library list parameters are used to identify the current library and the initial library list respectively for the submitted job. The output queue parameter is used to specify the output queue to which the batch job is to place its reports. The hold parameter can be set to *yes to hold the batch job on the job queue. The batch job will not be processed until a release job command is issued. You can also use the schedule date and time parameters to run a batch job on a specified date and at a specified time. Let us now see how the interactive job communicates with the submitted job. Here we have an interactive program, Ordent, that submits a batch job that will run the program printOrd. The Ordent program uses the parameters on the call command to pass the required information to the batch job. This is one method of passing information to the batch job. Another method of passing information to the submitted job is by using the local data area. Whenever a batch job is submitted, a local data area is created for the submitted job. Also, the contents of the interactive jobs data area are copied to the submitted jobs data area. Hence, whatever information needs to be passed to the submitted job can first be put into the interactive jobs local data area before submitting the job. The submitted job can then access its local data area to retrieve the information. Let us look at an example. The interactive job uses the change data area command to put the order number and quantity ordered into the local data area. We then use the submit job command to submit the batch job. At this point, the contents of the interactive job's local data area would have been copied to the local data area created for the batch job. In the batch job, you use the retrieve data area command to retrieve the order number and the quantity ordered from its local data area. We can also use data queues to pass information to a batch job. Let us first look at data queues. A data queue is an AS400 object that has been optimized for communication between jobs on the AS400. As the name itself implies, jobs can put entries into the queue and also read the entries from the queue. Once a job reads an entry from the queue, the entry is removed from the queue. The data queue is not meant for long-term storage of data or for storing large volumes of data. The create data queue command is used to create data queues. On the data queue parameter, we specify a name for the data queue. On the maximum length parameter, we specify the maximum possible length of each entry in the data queue. It can take on a value between 1 and 64,512. The sequence parameter is used to specify the order in which entries are to be retrieved from the data queue. Here we can specify *FIFO for first in first out or LIFO for last in first out. On the force parameter, we specify a value of *yes or *no to indicate whether the data queue is to be written to the disk whenever an entry arrives on the data queue or not. The delete data queue command is used to delete a data queue. IBM has supplied two programs, the QSNDDTAQ and QRCVDTAQ, to put entries onto the data queue and to read the entries from the data queue respectively. The QSNDDTAQ program is used to put data onto the data queue. It requires 4 parameters: the name of the data queue, the name of the library which contains the data queue, the length of the data, and the actual data that is to be put on the queue. The QRCVDTAQ program is used to read entries from a data queue. This program requires 5 parameters: the name of the data queue, the library that contains the data queue, the length of the data, the actual data that is to be put on the queue, and a wait parameter. On the wait parameter, we can specify how long the program should wait for an entry to arrive on the data queue in case the queue is empty. If the value is greater than 0, the program waits the number of seconds specified. If it is a negative value, the program waits indefinitely until data arrives on the queue. If the value is 0, the program does not wait at all. We do not assign a value to the length and data parameters. The system supplies these values when the entry is received from the queue. In case the wait time expires and no data was received from the data queue, the system sets the length parameter to 0. Let us look at an example. We have the INT PGM program that is used to enter orders. Every time an order entry is completed, the QSNDDTAQ program is called to place the order number on the data queue. We also have a batch job that is running asynchronously with the interactive job and is used to print the orders as they are completed. It uses the QRCVDTAQ program to read entries from the data queue. The program then checks the length parameter to confirm if an entry was received from the data queue. The program will continue with the printing only if this value is not 0. Another method of passing information to a batch program is by using database files. Here is an example. The interactive program enters the orders into an order file. As each order is completed, the program writes the order number into another database file, ordnum. A batch program that is used to print the orders continuously reads the database file and picks up the next order number and prints the corresponding order from the order file. If the batch program tries to read a record and encounters an end of file condition, an error will occur. To take care of this situation, we can make use of the end of file delay parameter on the override database file command. Here we can specify the number of seconds to wait before trying to read another record when the end of file is reached. When the batch program tries to read a record and it reaches the end of the file, the program will be delayed for the number of seconds specified on the end of file delay parameter. When the delay time ends, the program is made active and database file is again checked to see if any more records have been added to the file. If no new records have been added, the job will again wait for the specified delay time and then check again. As you can see, an end of file condition will never occur on a file read operation. You should take care to ensure that there is some orderly means to end this program, such as putting a value into the database file that will indicate to the batch program that it has to end. Summary. In this chapter, we looked at jobs on the AS400. We saw how interactive jobs can be made more efficient by separating out parts of the job that are batch in nature and running them asynchronously with the interactive job. We saw the submit job command that can be used to start asynchronous job. We saw how interactive jobs can communicate with batch jobs using various features such as fields, local data areas, data queues, and database files.